Good afternoon, my name is Andrew Morgan, Chair of the 7th Circuit JNC. We're here conducting interviews on the county court vacancy for which you have applied. If you could start by spending a few minutes telling us about yourself and why you want to be a county court judge.
Sure. Again, my name is David Gillespie, and I have been a trial lawyer for 25 years. 23 of those years have been in public service. I did have a private firm for 2 years in which we did family law and landlord-tenant and that type of thing, in criminal defense. I have tried 70 jury trials to verdict, and I've practiced, I currently practice for the Florida Attorney General's Office of Statewide Prosecution, which is the criminal prosecution arm of the Florida Attorney General's Office. And I've had the opportunity in that practice to try cases throughout Central Florida. I've tried cases here at jury trials in Volusia County, Brevard County, Lake County, Seminole, Osceola, Orange, and Polk County. And as a result of those trial practices, I've had the opportunity to see throughout the state how many different judges handle a court docket and how many different counties handle a court docket, and hopefully we'll be able to draw upon those experiences to efficiently handle a court docket here in Volusia County in the county court case. Also as part of that practice, I make sometimes tough decisions on a daily basis, and then have to explain those tough decisions to people that I'm friendly with and close to, and get them to understand the reason we have to make those decisions because they're the right decisions dictated by the law. On a personal level, I have been married to my best friend for 30 years. And we have raised 2 teenagers here in Volusia County. I hope that in some of the people that you've spoke to in consideration of my application, that it's come across that hopefully I bring what I believe to be a judicial demeanor with me to the practice of law. I don't take things personally, and I try to remember that, frankly, all the people that I prosecute have various trials, tribulations, and life experiences that have brought them to where they are, and that they too have family members and have loved ones, and it's not just simply a statistic or a crime that we're prosecuting. As to why I'd like to be a judge, I'd like to serve the citizens here of Volusia County and help them resolve disputes in a fair, efficient manner. And in order to do that, I think the bottom line is people, litigants, want to walk out of the courthouse feeling that they've been heard, that they've been able to present their cases and they've been heard, and that people are cognizant and value their time, that their time has not been wasted, and that ultimately the cases get to resolution in a timely manner, and those decisions are decided according to neutral principles of law, and that they feel that they got a fair shot. And so I think that I would be able to bring all that to Volusia County and be able to provide that opportunity in the Volusia County Court.
You were in private practice for about 2 years.
2 years.
In Orlando. What kind of law were you doing at that
So
time?
we did criminal defense, family law. It was myself and a partner, and we had 1 secretary, and we also did some landlord-tenant law as well.
Would that landlord-tenant translate well, you think, the county civil?
Sure. I mean, it was the same type of practice, certainly, yes.
Any other civil?
No, I will tell you that I've had the opportunity in observing county court civil proceedings on several occasions. And what I take out of those proceedings is, although the substantive law might be slightly different than what I practice on a daily basis, what's not different is, again, that the litigants, they want to be heard. They want to feel like that their case has been addressed, they've been able to present evidence, and that their time is valued. So I think that doesn't change from the county civil to what I currently do. Again, the substantive law is, again, a little bit different. But it's not something I wouldn't be able to get up to speed on. And again, as I observe those county court proceedings, that's exactly what I took away from those proceedings.
Talk to us about electability and how you would defend the decision.
Yeah, so electability is really why I'm kind of focused in on the county court position. I expect in the next election cycle to have an opponent and have to run an election, and I certainly feel I'd be more effective in 1 county out of the gate than trying to run an election in 4 different counties. I would hope that my experience with the litigants that come before me and running an efficient docket, one that is cognizant of their time, would translate well to when the election time comes along. In addition, we've been active in with our children as far as community sports. They've had soccer, volleyball, football, and we've got to know a lot of parents, a lot of voters throughout those years of doing those various activities. In addition, both my children went to Spruce Creek High School in Port Orange, and again, we were very active with the sports there, football, boosters, and got to know a lot of parents and a lot of voters in that regard. In addition, my current practice and the practice I've had for, probably the last 15 years is really focused a lot on developing relationships with men and women in law enforcement in Volusia County. Specifically, I've developed those close relationships with people in various law enforcement agencies from Ormond Beach down to New Smyrna, Edgewater, Port Orange, DeLand, and Volusia County Sheriff's Office, as well as Daytona Beach. And I would hope that those relationships that I've developed would translate into voters and their families again supporting me. In addition, I've been told that even been approached by some of the representatives of some of the law enforcement unions that they would support me in an election should that come to that. So those are the things that I've been thinking about trying to work on, because I fully expect to have an opponent, as anybody would, that was newly appointed, and feel we could hit the ground running here in Volusia County.
You've been up to the governor's office before.
I have.
What have you learned from?
I learned that that's a whole different can of worms. That's what I've learned. And I will tell you that the bottom line is, I believe last time I went through this process about 5 years ago. And I believe firmly that God has a plan for all of us in our lives, and I took that as a sign at that particular juncture that it just wasn't the right time. And so I basically recommitted myself. My children were getting ready to go into high school at the time, and just really being present for them in their lives during this high school process. But I haven't stopped working on this long-time goal, and I've been fortunate to make friends with a lot of people that have been through this process and have been successful through this process, and even with this current governor as far as recent appointments. And they've been kind enough to sit down and tell me what has worked for them as they've navigated through that process. And not only local folks, but folks that I've become friends with in the Tampa Bay area and other places that have been appointed by Governor DeSantis, and they've shared with me what's worked for them. So in that process, I mean, that's the difference, I think, is just my continuing to learn and continuing to talk with people about that next hurdle and how to get by that next hurdle, and what has been proven to be successful for others in that regard.
David, this is, of course, a county court spot. Do you see yourself at some point elevating to circuit court level, or perhaps even DCA?
I honestly, as to the DCA, I don't think that would be the best suit for my skills. I kind of consider myself kind of a people person, and I like to connect with individuals, and frankly, I think that is why, in particular, county court would be well suited, given the pro se nature of a lot of the proceedings, that type of thing. I would not completely rule out at some point in my life, perhaps, being elevated to a circuit court spot, but again, that goes back to thinking about the future potential elections in a 4-county area versus a 1-county area. Certainly, if I'm successful and get a well-known reputation in the county court, perhaps that would open up other doors in those other counties and meet other people. But in the near future, I'd be very content serving the citizens of Volusia County in that regard.
What's the American Mock Trial Association?
That was a law school association that basically, well, there's two things. There's a mock trial association in law school that I participated in, but then I was also a judge, and I think that's probably what that's a reference to.
Yes.
With all the undergraduate universities around the state put forth basically a mock trial competition. When I had the opportunity to judge it, it was being held at the University of Central Florida over in Orlando, and they had panels of judges that we would hear students come in and present cases, that we would give them, constructive criticism and grade them, and then they would advance to the next round, that type of thing.
Were they law students?
No, they were all like pre-law students in various four-year undergraduate universities across the country. They come from the Northeast and Midwest, all over the place, but they weren't law students, they were undergraduate students aiming to become law students.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? No other questions. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Well, thank you all for your time, I appreciate that.
Thank
Nice
you.
seeing you again.
We will call you at the end of the day. Is the phone number ending in 89 a good number?
Yes, sir. All right, thank you.
Thank you.